I think we're live. I think we're live. Hey, Sarah.
Hello.
So good to see. Happy early Thanksgiving.
Thank you. So much to be grateful for, like usual, right?
My favorite holiday. It really is. I tell people I'm a little biased because my birthday's 2 days after Christmas, so I feel like I battle with Christmas just a little
You're
bit.
kidding. My daughter's birth. Are you in this? Are you on the 27th?
Yeah.
So is my daughter's.
Oh, okay. See, I've only met a few people in the 27 club, so yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. So how did you do your birthday? I know we're gonna probably go. We're going on a tangent already, but
Right.
how did you celebrate your birthday when
God
you were
bless my
growing
mom.
up?
We would pick a random like weekend, like in October,
Okay.
and we would go to like Showbiz Pizza in West Texas, and we do my party somewhere in the fall
Oh,
beforehand usually.
okay. Yeah.
The worst part of and you probably know this with your daughter, it's the birthday slash Christmas gift.
Oh yeah, I know. I had to warn everyone in my family because they were like, "Hey, we'll just make one gift." I was like, "No, no, dude, you can't do that." Like,
I mean,
it's
it already kind of stinks because even if you get a second one, you get all your gifts like in one big chunk. Now,
right.
I will say the ways that I would leverage this sometimes is I would sometimes leverage it for a bigger gift. Hey, if I went to my parents and I'm like, okay, this is a bigger thing or this is a little more expensive, it would be like, okay, can we make this a combo gift? Right. And then, so I was like, well, my brother's birthday's in November. So he had a little bit of a leeway, but we were all kind of we're kind of holiday kids, you know? So that's funny. But that's not why we jumped on here today. But
That
that
is
is.
not why we jumped on. No, but it is
No,
fun to talk about birthdays.
no, absolutely. And so I'm so glad for those of you joining us live. So I went live the other day and kind of was just a where's Jimmy been? What's life update? Specifically here on Facebook for those that are watching on Facebook. And what I did, Sarah, is I kind of gave them a recap of, man, maybe the last, I'm trying to remember when we met 5, 6 years ago. Maybe, no, maybe not. It was around COVID because that was GoPro. And so I was telling the story about how, I had this awesome network marketing background with Beachbody, and I kind of accidentally stumbled upon it. I didn't know it was a business model that would change my life, not only financially, but it got me fit. It introduced me to personal development, and then getting to work with Eric. And then all of a sudden, I'm doing public speaking and emceeing. I'm emceeing a gig for Eric, and for Eric Worre, for those of you who don't know, like the top network marketing trainer in the world. And then I got to help coach his top level mastermind people on their story, this other avenue. And Sarah was part of that. And that was so cool. And so we had connected back then. Little did I know that eventually you would end up being my business partner going forward. So this is a big full circle moment for me. And I'm so excited to be partnering with you and Tony and John and the whole family, because there's just the epitome of professionalism in
Oh,
this world. It's you. And so thank you for your partnership.
oh my gosh. Well, we're so excited. It is definitely a full circle moment. I think, that's, kind of a golden nugget right there, right? Where it really is about relationships and, building long-term friendships is where it's at. I think a lot of people always say, how do you bring in, the people that you bring in your business? And it's like, guys, these aren't people that I just met yesterday.
Yeah.
Granted, might happen here or there, but it's really about, cultivating friendships that people are like, not only do I want to work with you, but I want to do life with you, right? Like I'm excited to like travel the world with you. I'm excited to open up new countries. I'm excited to make an impact with you, right? And I think that's what makes our business so special.
Absolutely. And I think where you and Tony were so great about planting seeds early on, and I just love the collaboration, this kind of open book mentality that you had, was even when I was with a different company, you were like, hey, come into our team page, because I just saw what you guys were doing. And where I felt like I had some skins on the wall, like I made it to the top rank of my company. What you guys were doing was just like, I'd never seen anything like it before. And I was like, tell me how you've created this awesome culture. You take care of your people. You build leaders. It was so cool. And you guys were just an open book where you could have looked at me as the competition. You're like, come into the team page. So I've had 3 or 4 years of watching your culture and watching you bring people in of all types, people that have business experience, people that don't have business experience, people that just kind of want to do this as a fun thing, people that are really looking to change their lives. So can you speak a bit about that, about the culture, and about, I've always said with this thing, you can be in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. And I think like you guys are the epitome of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. Well, first of all, thank you. I feel like there's always so much room for improvement. I feel that, okay, so when I first got started in network marketing 30 years ago, one of the reasons that I fell in love with the profession is that I felt like I was the kid that never fit in, Jimmy. You know what I mean? Like I was a girl that at school, I didn't have like a group of friends. I was kind of friends with everybody, but still at the end of the day, I just was like, I just don't know who I am. And so
Yeah.
I love the fact, like when I came into network marketing, I was like, oh my gosh, like these guys, like they don't really care about everything with my background and who I am. Like they just want to know, like, hey, do you want to get better? Like, if so, join our tribe because we do too, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, when we started this company 12 years ago, I think the thing that was so important is I remember telling Tony, I'm like, you know what, Tony, I want our business and I want our team to look like the world. Because at the end of the day, I want people, when they see our business, they see themselves here already. Right.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that happens sometimes in network marketing is I feel that sometimes certain companies, they only attract a certain type of person, whether it's
Yeah.
all women or all men or all Caucasian or all Latino or all Black. Right. I mean,
Right.
we see it. Right. And I'm like, I want it to be everybody. So I'm really proud because we've worked really hard on just representing the world here.
Yeah.
And I think that's why when people see it, they go, oh my gosh, I could see myself here. Like, I love that they're so unconditional. I love that they're just like, hey, everybody is welcome. And, let's go play big in the world together. Right. So I think that culture, but again, that doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
Right. I think sometimes people just think, oh, this will just automatically happen. I'm like, no, like as a leader, like you have to be incredibly intentional with building a sales team that way. Like every little thing that I do every day has to do with that piece. And I feel like that's a big kind of a sticky part of what keeps our business sticky and keeps people around and keeps the retention strong. And why people go, I love being here is because of that part.
I love that. And it's so funny because when I was doing my live the other day, I was very transparent with the audience. Is when I found out, Beachbody was shutting down after 17 years, I really asked myself, did I want a network marketing component still in my life and my business? And I had this vision for, when I share my story, I was talking about, I feel like everyone has a 7-figure story if it's well crafted. And this idea of, like you said, do you want to get better? A well-crafted body, we're taking care of our health, a well-crafted mindset when it comes to personal development. But well-crafted also goes to lifestyle. It also goes to finances. And I always tell people, network marketing really saved my life. I think it's the most brilliant business model, and I feel like it's the most misunderstood, where people just jump to conclusions about things unless they're willing to be open to some things. And the more I thought about how do I want to serve my audience, this tribe that had been, ride or die with me for 17 years, I said, it would be wrong of me not to have this component, because it was a solution for me when I had no solutions, when I was 100 pounds overweight, when I was a 3-time college dropout, when I didn't fit into the picture of success, just like you said that. And I was like, well, I need to partner with somebody for people. Obviously, health and fitness will always be a part of my brand, always be a part of my lifestyle. Just came back from the gym this morning. Personal development, changing my mindset will always be a piece of that. And I know there's people out there right now that feel stuck. They feel like, man, I'm not happy with what I'm doing. I'm not passionate about it. Maybe I'm getting a paycheck at my job. Maybe it's not enough. And they need a solution. So I just felt like it would have been wrong of me not to, but it had to be the right fit. And I think that's why I was so thankful for the relationship of knowing you guys. I saw so many people just jump to other companies really quick and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to pause a second. I want to make sure this is the right thing. And it just made so much sense with you guys. And so I would love to just kind of give you the floor a little bit and talk a little bit and paint the vision of, you talked about that tribe. What are the types of people that you find that you're working with right now? Because everybody has their concerns. Hey, that isn't for me. For me, it was always like, success is for other people. I'm not a salesperson. That was kind of my pushback. I just thought I was an actor. So as you're reaching out and you're growing this amazing team, like this international team, what is it? What's the messaging with you guys that you've been able to bring in so many different types of people and help them find success being them, not having to fit into some other kind of cookie cutter?
Yeah. Well, I think about too, I like to piggyback on what you just talked about and jump into this. But I think too, you were a customer first.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's a thing, as well as I think that's so important, is that it says so much about, that the people that want to promote our brand are a lot of them are already raving fans.
Yeah.
Right. So they're already loving our product, loving representing it. And I think that's the thing, is that the brand really stands alone in this, because, obviously at this point we have, millions and millions and millions and millions of customers around the world that love the product. So I think so I think the product, getting involved with a company that has a product that, it's not hype. It's not smoke and mirrors. It's not some fad deal. There's like real legit science behind that people can be proud of and say, you know what, I represent this brand. You know what I mean? That like they're really proud of it. And I feel like that's kind of too for you. You're like, you know what? I love this product. I've seen the results. I like this. I feel proud to put my name on this.
Yeah, because I've always said in any of these ventures, I couldn't get behind something just because there was a business model if I didn't fall in love with the product first. Whether it was my first time around when I was with Beachbody, or even like I've been a customer of y'all for multiple years. And because for me, it was like the collagen made so much sense as I was getting older. I was trying to make sure like this wasn't thinning. I was like, okay, there, the joints, are a little different right now. And I remember seeing that I was starting to read the science behind the liquid collagen, and it was something I didn't have. I was getting collagen. And so I was like, let's give that a shot. And you're absolutely right. As I think about it, it was the same process with you guys. Is started using products for a while. I knew I loved it. I knew that it did impact my day-to-day. And I feel like that's a really important part. Like you have to be passionate about what it is you represent, not just the people that jump into a business model and don't care. So I love the fact that it is products first.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I think for us, I think about, when you're asking, what is it that people see? I think people see hope, and I think people are looking for hope now more than ever. When I got started in the profession, I was a nanny. I had no business being in business. I just fell in love with the people. I also fell in love with the possibility of what could be. And, I think, so this is my third company. This is my career. This is really all I've ever known, right? I'm 51 years old. I was here since I was 21. But I just feel like for us, when we started this company 12 years ago, our biggest thing was we wanted it to be a home for everybody. We looked at the network marketing space as a whole, and we're like, okay, so what are all the awesome things about direct sales and network marketing, right? And there's a lot. And what are some of the things that we don't love, right? And then we looked at this world of like online shopping, viral sharing. We said, hey, what if we started using promo codes like all these other online, e-commerce platforms are doing, right? Network marketing wasn't doing it at all. And we said, what if we could marry it? What if we could marry all the good stuff from network marketing and all the good stuff from the online space? What if we could pull it together and call it social retail? Like, do you think we could actually pull this off? Like, do you think we could do this? And I remember elbowing Tony, and I'm like, babe, well, first of all, every woman is already doing Modair. It's just not called it. You know what I mean? Everyone's already doing it. We're already sharing promo codes. We're already sharing links. We're already doing that. And so I'm like, the fact that I could get paid for doing it, I'm like, I'm in. And I think that's the thing too, that when people look at our business model, they think the same thing. We just piggybacked on with how the consumer buys. Like, how does the consumer buy every single day? We do the exact same thing here, except we pay them for doing that.
Yeah, I always love the fact that if you can show somebody, and it's such a different world now than maybe 15 years ago when even affiliate marketing was looked at differently. And I think a lot of people didn't even know what affiliate, everybody does it at some point now, whether they get a promo code, whether they're being compensated by Amazon or anybody else, but it is just kind of our vernacular, specifically with women. I've always said, you guys are so much better than us about like, hey, your hair looks great. What are you doing? Tell me about the shoes. Like, you guys have such this like share mentality of like, tell me about your lipstick. It was already inbred in you. I think we as guys had to get, we had some catching up to do, whether it was asking because we had too much ego. Because I know for me initially, I'd see other guys having success with something that I wanted, but then, I wouldn't ask, and so, but I love that. And the idea now that it is, and I always would share with people, they would talk about their online habits, or I'd see somebody that would say, hey, I don't have time for that, or I'm not a salesperson. And it was always funny because I usually could find an example of they were doing, I'm like, look at this right here. I was like, you're already doing what I'm doing. I was like, it didn't cost you any more time or anything. I was like, I'm just getting paid and you're not. That's literally it, And it's like, if I can help you create a little extra income or sometimes just a little more impact with somebody else doing the things we're already doing online. And that's what I loved about y'all's model from the minute I ever saw it.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at like what people are doing on social media, right? People are already liking and loving and commenting. They're doing all those things every day. Yep. And so we just say, you know what? Let's teach them how to make money doing that. Yeah. They're already on. Like for people that say, well, I don't really have time to do, anything part-time. I'm like, well, if you're on social media an hour a day, you got time. You just turn that into building a part-time business, another revenue stream. Like you can definitely do that. Right. So I think it's just teaching. I think a lot of people in their mind, even some of you guys that are watching, you've probably thought in your mind, oh my God, I would love to figure out how to make money online part-time while I'm raising kids, right? Because I've got 2 little kids. I mean, not so little anymore, 9 and 12. They're still young, right? But while I'm raising kids or going to college or working a career, like how can I bring in, just a little bit even extra, even for over the holidays?
Yeah.
Right?
I've even found people like that, specifically online that'll do like their passion is travel. Right. I was talking to a girl the other day. She's like, oh my God. I said, I love all your travel stuff. She's like, yeah. She's like, I'm just trying to find ways, she's like, and then I got to go back to my job and I'm just trying to find other ways. I said, your passion's travel. I was like, have you ever thought about just turning your entire feed into like a travel post? I was like, you're really good at this. And it was about trying to find a way. She was like, I would love to. She's like, eventually I would love for these travel brands to reach out to me. I was like, what if you could take control of that and already start a revenue stream and things that you could be using in the midst of your travel or your hiking or going different places and stuff like that. And it was one of those things that I have found this to be a great way to fuel passion projects of different kinds, whether it's travel or fashion or all the things I'm into too, is like, okay, but there are products and ways that I can, it's almost like you're giving yourself a sponsor. Have somebody like, I'm going to build a YouTube channel and hope that some big brand reaches out to me and sponsors me. I'm like, you could hope. I mean, that's kind of hope, you can cross your fingers, or you have a way to be proactively create your own sponsorship immediately to help other people to fund your passions.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think that's the thing is that I'm like, man, this is a vehicle. Like, whatever you're fired up about in your life, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of times the projects, like you said, that people want to do, like the only thing that's holding them back is finances. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they're just like, where am I going to get the money to start this or do that? And it's like, oh my gosh, like let this be the vehicle that can help you do that, right? Where you literally can get started on a shoestring. I mean, I tell people, I'm like, the fact that you can, try a couple products, right? Make your life better, right? With products, get healthier. And you literally can turn this into a 7-figure business. Like that's mind blowing. I mean, like if you really,
and I think people are so skeptical about that, but it's so true.
No,
like,
I'm proof.
And so am I. And that's why I'm like, and you look at our backgrounds, 3-time college dropout. I always tell people, when I first started, I was nobody's prize recruit at all, but I finally got to the part where I was coachable because I had a pretty big ego initially and I wasn't very coachable. And I used to be anybody that would suggest something that was out of my default, I took as an attack. It was my own, that Jimmy brain thing. And once in fact, I keep a sticky note right here that says, are you willing to be willing? And it's just a reminder, are you willing to be willing to think a little differently, to just, before you shut something down immediately, because the minute I shifted this, my world changed, and it was that idea of it doesn't matter what your past is, because you and I, you look at our history and nothing said, well, there's going to be 2 7-figure earners in business in the future. And it was like, but that's not where you start. But I just had to pause there for a second, because sometimes we say things like that and I know somebody rolls their eyes. I would have rolled my eyes too. But it was sometimes just like, it's that baby step of getting started. And I didn't know, you look up and a decade goes by and you're like, oh my gosh, my life changed with a bunch of tiny little decisions that didn't seem like these earth-shattering things at the time, but made all the difference.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, I look at like, sorry, my dog is barking here. Hey guys, can somebody get the dog out of my office? That's the life of a mom, guys. Here we go, real time right now. Oh, the day before Thanksgiving, everything's crazy town.
Yeah.
All right, hold on a quick second. All right, sorry about that. Here we go. Okay. But anyway, so I mean, I agree. I mean, I feel that, all the little things that have happened, like even in my life, like with network marketing, I mean, I am so grateful for just like every little piece of it to help me be a better mom, right? To help me be a better partner. Like I would have never had the number one, the options and the choices that I have today if I wasn't willing to say yes. Right. And I also wouldn't be the person that I am today, right? If I wasn't willing to, number one, say yes to the opportunity, but then also too, just this whole process of kind of growing into the best version of you, which, being a nanny, I never would have had that opportunity, you know, and I just think
Right.
like that's something that's so special here with network marketing that I feel like sometimes people don't talk enough about, because really who you become in the whole process of it all is, I mean, you can't put you can't put a price tag on it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. And it's funny going back to the idea of, you fall in love with these products and they change your life first. And then I always feel like that is the progression, right? Find something that you really enjoy using or really is life changing. And then it's easier to promote than the other way. I know people have done it the other way around. I just find for me, it's finding that thing. And so with me, having become really passionate about health and fitness, having been featured in many fitness videos and things like that, how that will always be a part of my life. I know for me, the appeal, obviously, I talked about the collagen early on, was that. But then it's funny, you start with one little thing and you start going down a bit of a rabbit hole. So like this morning, like had my pre and post workout and I went and got a great lift at the gym. And so for me, the avenue of, being really like interested in Modere and what you guys were doing and being really picky about ingredients and supplements. I mean, that's one of those things that it's always this huge high standard, and they checked all the boxes for me. What have you found product wise? Because it's such a vast line, like with the people you're bringing in and specifically some of the women that you're talking to, what is it that most, is there one or two products that seem to be the forefront of where people come in, or does it just depend on where someone is in their life and what's most valuable to them?
You know what? I do feel, I mean, because we do have so many different products, right? I mean,
You
we have
do.
almost like 80, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. But I feel like we've got like kind of 5 or 6 what I call hero products that most people kind of like kind of like get their foot in the door. And then all of a sudden they realize, oh my gosh, Jimmy, I didn't know you had amazing collagen shampoo. I had no idea, right? I didn't know you had this or that. So I obviously the BioCell, the collagen, right, is
Yeah.
our big one, because we've got, 24 clinicals on it, 7 US international patents, right? Just lots of science. People are like, oh my gosh, right? I would say also our weight management system. I think, unfortunately, we live in America. There might be some Canadians watching as well. We unfortunately we're pretty overweight,
Yeah.
and we eat terrible. And it's like, we wanted to create a catalyst for people to start living a healthier lifestyle. So again, we don't talk about it being a diet or fad or anything like that, but it's like, hey, let's give these guys some tools that can help them kickstart a healthier lifestyle, right? Where they
Right.
can start releasing some weight and that type of thing. But our newest hero one, I would definitely say, is our product called Curb, which it actually creates natural GLP-1 right in your system. And it's great for, like, I mean, let's face it, we all have food noise, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know about you, like I've seen all these memes. I don't know if you've ever seen them, where it's like at the beginning, your breakfast in the morning is perfect, your meal is perfect, and then at night it's just garbage. You know what I mean?
It's off the rails, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
after a
yeah.
long day, it's like that bag of Doritos looks
Oh,
awful.
dude. I mean, it's just brutal, right? And so we realized that. So we're like, hey, let's create a product that people can take that helps kind of cut out that food noise, right? And
Mhm.
helps like people having to be snacking all the time, and helps regulate blood sugar and all that. So it's really simple. You just put it in a stick. It's a stick pack. You mix in water. But we did our first like trial group. It
Yeah.
was 28, right? And there was like 600 pounds lost. I mean, it was
Wow.
just crazy in a 12-week period. We just finished up another big trial group with 1,000 people in it. It just is ending actually on Saturday.
Gotcha.
And it's wild, like 6,000 pounds now, really. So, we've sold a lot of that. We're super excited about that. We just know, unfortunately, people are looking to do needles. People are looking to take crazy injections with
Yeah.
unfortunate side effects and all that. And we're just really the company that says there's got to be a better way,
Yeah. And it's so funny coming in. I was, John Melton and I did a live the other day, and we were talking about this. We're talking about coming into the holiday season, whether it's a product or, health and fitness, or even on the business side. This is that time of year where it's really easy to people like after the holidays. It's funny. There's this internal story that people think if you start something or make an adjustment during the holiday season, somehow you don't have permission to enjoy your holidays anymore. And what I have found, again, as someone who's lost 100 pounds and kept it off for 15 years, I love my holiday. Thanksgiving is like I said, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I'm about to go ham tomorrow and turkey. There's Christmas, there's parties. I have my birthday, and there's New Year's Eve, right? So I got all the things coming up. And what I've always said is, what if you could find a way to do something that you could still enjoy your holidays? I feel like people think, oh, I have to not do things. And I'm like, but what if you could find something instead of enjoying your holidays and finding that you put on that extra 10, 15, some people 20 pounds on January 1st? What if you can enjoy your holidays and just maintain? Like enjoy it. Because my thought is, don't cut anything out. This is the best time of year. Like go to your parties, have your eggnog, eat your food, have your cake. Like, but what if you could find some little habits and a little things that in the midst of things that it takes no time that could just to help you maintain. That way January 1st comes, you have a bit of a testimony, you have a bit of a story, and you're not hating your life on January going, feeling like you're having to climb up that hill again. And that's the way I've always looked at that, as opposed to using the holidays as an excuse. I always think this is the best time of year to set up yourself for an awesome next year is right now.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing with the curve that I just talked about. I mean, you're going to take it 30 minutes before your biggest meal. So it's not saying like you're not going to enjoy your holiday, but guess what? Like how many of us are like, maybe we eat a little bit too much and we wish we wouldn't have feeling. So what if you still enjoy, but you just don't eat as much and you feel better?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, shoot, it's a win-win, right? So, but again, we're, our company, we're big believers in like not, swinging the pendulum where it's like, you have to do a starvation diet. We're just like, no, like we want you to enjoy your life. You know what I mean? We want, let's just again, just equip you with some tools to eat better, right? Maybe to work on some things with mindset and what have you, but still enjoy the holidays. Right. And so I love that. I mean, I do feel like we're a different train of thought for people where I think it's not feast or famine. It's not like, you've got to do something that's so restrictive. It's like, let's just teach you how to live a healthier lifestyle from here on out, where you do feel healthier, you can enjoy it more. Right. And you just have a lot more vitality. So, I mean, I agree. I think that's one of the things that's so great about, this new curb product that we talk about is that it's not all or nothing.
That's fantastic.
First of all, it's not sustainable either, Jimmy. Like
I hate New Year's resolutions because people try to overhaul everything, and it's not. They put so much pressure to be perfect. I want to back up just a minute because you were talking about something else about how, the way we operate on social media, and one of the things that I've also found that this is so perfect for is people that already have an audience, right? People that already have what I call the know, like, and trust factor with their audience. And that so often there's an opportunity here to take care of the people that already trust you. I know for me, like I said, already being somebody that, I initially built my brand on health and fitness. And so people look at me as an authority in that, personal trainers, professional athletes. And on the flip side, whether it's maybe there's women that have, they lean into fashion and beauty and things like that. It's an opportunity to serve your audience in an extra way. How do you go about with somebody that may already be in that space that goes, man, I don't know, this is kind of working here. What's the benefit of potentially adding something else? But I know that you work with influencers a ton, and that's really kind of been your sweet spot. Can you talk to that just a bit?
Well, I think for them, once they understand the business model, they're just like, oh my gosh, I'd be crazy not to do it, because I think some people that don't understand the influencer world, I mean, sure, they're out there, schlepping sunglasses, doing this, doing that, whatever. But the reality is, I mean, they're paid 8 to 11% per sale one time, and then that company says, hey, thanks for hooking me up with a sale. They're paid 60 days later. Here with us, we start off at 10%. We go up to 36%. We pay them daily. So their mind is already blown. And we're like, Jimmy, not only are we going to pay you because you connected us to someone, but we're going to pay you every time that person reorders for as long as they're a customer. So these influencers are like, obviously they're business people, right? So they look at this and they're like, are you kidding me right now? And they love being part of Modere because they're like, you know what? Modere really rewards my hard efforts that I put into it. A lot of people don't realize like you put a lot of effort into being an influencer. It takes time to prepare and do things and all of that. So, so they love it. And I think too, most influencers, they will typically pick 1 or 2 products in the Modere line. That's going to be their jam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just find one that's their thing. And they do it and they love it because they're like, I can do a story and I can get a bunch of sales, or I could do a reel or go live, whatever they choose to do. And again, they typically pick 1 or 2 products that are in their wheelhouse of whatever it is their brand is, right? That they're typically selling. But they love it. They love the simplicity of it. They're already doing it anyways. They just are making a much higher percentage, and the repeat order of, of residual income, like it's there where they are not seeing those rewards with all the other typical things that they're promoting.
That's awesome. As we wrap this up, there's one thing I really, really want to hammer home that it keeps coming back to me. And I know for me, it was such a big deal, whether it was the weight loss or starting into a business that I didn't think I had any business being in. I had a lot of imposter syndrome. Like, this isn't for me. This is for other people. And it's this idea of something you guys do so well. And you touched on this about delivering hope, right? I've always said, I've never been somebody that I don't promote health and fitness. I deliver hope to a world that desperately needs it. And that all comes back to the community. Yeah. And early on for me, whether it was struggling with my weight, struggling with my mindset, struggling with my finances, is I had to borrow other people's confidence until I built mine. And plugging into a community where I didn't feel alone, I didn't feel judged, I didn't feel behind, was super helpful for me, because I didn't come out of the gates like rocking and rolling and sprinting. It took me a little bit. It took a little bit of belief change. It took and this is what I love so much about partnering with you guys and your track record and just what amazing top level people you are, is that watching inside your team page, being a part of that, is watching the support. Watch it, because I think the scariest thing is people decide to start something, whether it's a product or a venture, and then they feel like they're going to be abandoned. Mm-hmm. And they feel like, I don't know how to do this, or this seems overwhelming. And what I love so much is this idea of a community of like, and for once, for 17 years, I was that point person, right? I would funnel people to me, let me be the expert and stuff. And what I love so much now is that as I'm continuing to open this up and serve people in so many other ways, I have such, awesome leaders like you and Tony and John to be like, hey, and we've already done this. As my team's already started to grow, Sarah's been great. I've been like, hey, she's the expert now. Tony's the expert now. Let's answer some questions. Because at the end of the day, it's like, let's at least answer some questions if you have to have a conversation. So I am I'm just so honored to partner with you guys. But as we wrap up here, can you talk just a little bit more about that idea of community, whether it's on the product side or the business side, and how somebody that may be a little nervous or not sure about this, just a few reassuring words of how you really do take care of your people?
Well, I think it goes back to like when we talked about, how we looked at creating Modere, like, we looked at all the great things about network marketing and some of the things that aren't that great. Yeah. And one of the things that aren't that great is that it's like this black hole that unfortunately a lot of people fall into, where it's like their next door neighbor, Bob, signs them up and says, hey, go get them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then they're like, I didn't make any money. I couldn't figure this out. I don't like network marketing. Right. And typically it's like they just didn't have good support. Right. And so I think a lot of people, they love the concept of network marketing, but they're like you said, they're afraid, you know what I mean? And so we looked at that and we said, man, we have got to be like a shining light for people, where when they do look at the business and they come in, they go, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be doing this by myself. You know what I mean? There is a system that's put in place that there isn't any guesswork. I mean, the system that we created has created literally hundreds of thousands of success stories, I mean, across the globe. So I think that's the thing too, where I'm like, you don't have to try to figure this out. Like, we already figured it all out. We already have proven it over and over again. So people come in and it's not like, what do I do? It's like, hey, these are the next steps. And I think too, also having a system that the average person like me, the average person like you, we can do something that, teaches someone, hey, here's 5 simple steps, and it's going to take you an hour to go through to launch your business, but then you can launch and get in profitability immediately. Like, are you kidding me? So people feel confident, even if they've never done this, or if they have done it and they failed, or if they're like, oh my gosh, I want to do this, right? And they have their fingers crossed. I think that's a piece too, where we really realized we're like, guys, the most important person in this business is a brand new person. And if we do a good job of taking care of them and helping them create a story, which is going to help them have confidence, right? Which means they're going to talk to more people, which means they're going to get more sales, which means they're going to have more people want to join their business. They're going to have more success stories. And it's just this beautiful success cycle, right? It goes over and over and over again. And I think that's the thing, is that we made a point early on that we had to slow down to make sure we really put together a system that that was able to build a community of trust and try. And I think really too, Jimmy, the people feel that even if they don't have tremendous success right away, they still feel empowered. They still feel part. They don't feel less than. They feel like, oh my gosh, like we're all doing this together. And that is such a beautiful thing where, again, you talked about the imposter syndrome. Like, we don't really have that a lot here just because we have like literally just wrapped our arms around everybody and we meet people where they're at. And I tell people, I'm going to be here and love you into your success story for as long as it takes. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And because of that, people are like, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah. You know? And I love that. I love the fact that, like I said, that you found the good parts of this business. Like I said, a business that saved my life. And really, unfortunately, like any other business, there are people that do any business the wrong way. And you've taken the pressure out, like the ickiness out, anything like that. And so as you're watching this, and if any of this has resonated with you, basically, we're just here to educate. You probably have some questions. You probably have some things of like, okay, that sounds good, but what? And of course, like you should have questions. You should want to, because that just shows that you want to know more. So I just want to let you know, like you can see Sarah's here. My email address is here on the screen. Wherever you're watching this, you can DM. And just if any of this has resonated with you, whether it's like, man, I want to know a little bit more of that products. We have some awesome Black Friday stuff going on right now. And so I thought that's why this was the perfect time, even with the holidays. I was like, we need to do this now because, you know, everybody's out there looking at Black Friday stuff. And I've always said the best investment I ever made was the one in myself. Right. And so there's so many places that people could go with things and everybody with Black Friday stuff. But what if you could invest in yourself and start setting yourself up now for what's going to be an incredible next year for you as well? So, Sarah, I am so proud and thankful for you as a friend first, as a business partner now, and that you as the new newbie in your world, that you've been so supportive with me. So thank you for taking the time. If you're watching this and any of this resonates with you, please send me a DM or an email. And if I can't answer your question, I got the Pro right here, Sarah, to help me out as well. So thank you for your time. I hope you and the fam have a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Awesome. We'll talk soon. Take care.
Bye, everybody.